Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, the leaders in below the waistline grooming. Like we said, man, it's fresh ball season, baby. So you better make sure that your balls are freshly trimmed and cleaned with the Crop Reviver, the ball toner, the 2-in-1 body wash, the shampoo and conditioner, everything that you need for your personal hygiene care. Okay? Make sure that you're using that. Make sure that you're operating with that type of stuff because it makes you feel good. And when you feel good, you look good. When you look good, you play good. When you play good, everything is happening good. So with that being said, man, shout out to them. But more importantly, we stay with a promo code. And that promo code is MOATS. Use that. You get 20% off along with free shipping worldwide. So shout out to manscaped.com. And trust me when I tell you, your dangly twins and they friends, well, I'll be appreciative of you, baby, once you manscape it up. We are finally here. Steelers, Bills. The I-79 Bowl. Or was it the Battle of I-79, right? That's what you said?
It's either that or the I-79 battle. I think it's the Battle of I-79.
The Battle of I-79
with the best.
with the cross axes.
The swords.
Yeah. So we're at the Battle of I-79. I'm excited, though, man, because obviously when you're talking about the context of this game, let's start with the 14-point spread. To me,
Disrespectful.
It's extremely disrespectful for multiple reasons. That Bills team is very good, 100%. And that Bills team, I could understand them being favored to win 100%. When you're talking about a 2-touchdown lead, though, at the NFL level, that is rare. That is very rare. You might go up 2 scores, but how many games are you seeing end with those type of spreads? And more importantly, when you're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers under Mike Tomlin, that to me was the first disrespectful thing. And I like it, though, because this is when Coach Tomlin is at his best. You think about in 2019, we all talk about that season and we like, yo, even with Duck and Mason, we're like, bro, that was one of Coach Tomlin's best coaching jobs. Because
the Rams at home, I remember that one.
Absolutely. This is what he does, though. His ability to galvanize troops, his ability to say, hey, I know you personally, Deke. I know the people that doubt you. I know why they doubt you. I know this and that and that. They doing them same things. And he's able to hit that, tapping into that, and how you out there ready to run through a brick wall kamikaze style. This is what he specializes in. So when I first saw that, I was definitely excited. I was like, I need that.
Well, not only that, the other reason I just don't really understand it, are they basing this spread based off how the Bills played the first 2 games or the last 2? Because off the last 2, dude, they lost to Miami, and then they barely beat the Ravens, and they're banged up across the board.
But I also think this is in response to rookie quarterback on the road. First start, Buffalo. Bills Mafia, all of that. I think that's also part of this thing, too, in terms of the spread, because rookies do make mistakes. You think about Ben playing in Buffalo. Ben made a mistake up there. Crucial one, right? The pick 6 before halftime. Crucial mistake. And that's from a future Hall of Famer. So I think that they do add some of that in there as well, that, hey, man, this young quarterback who isn't the future Hall of Famer just yet is about to go in that same environment and make his first career start versus that type of defense, versus that type of offense where you might feel like you need to press, right? You might feel like I got to keep up with a Josh Allen. Or you're trying to not press, but they go up 2 scores and now you feel like you have to press. I think that all is a part of that spread as well. And, money-wise, that does entice you a little bit more when you're like, the Bills are good, but they ain't 14 points good, are they? If it was at 10, you wouldn't be tripping. 14 is like, oh.
What's the spread with Mitch?
Low-key, I think it would have been 10.
Really?
Yes, because they would say that. No, the only reason is this. Mitch, his MO is not to take chances like that. He's not going to try to be overly aggressive. He's not going to try to do more than he's capable of. Now, granted, we might feel that he should be able to do more than what he's been doing, but I think that conservativeness also protects the ball. So you don't have to worry about it ever getting out of hand. Whereas even when we talked TG, right? The first throw from Kenny was what? I'm bombing it. Regardless of the outcome, the aggressiveness of it, the decision was what? I'm not looking anywhere else. I'm going there. That's some of the stuff when you're talking about what can get you beat in a hurry, what can get you out of a game, those type of turnovers. Not saying who's at fault, but just in that context. So it's a different level of what we are excited about, but it's also a different level of what we have to potentially deal with as well. So that's the other reason why, like I said, I would think that with Mitch, it wouldn't be as high, but the odds or the feeling that, hey, man, we can make something happen, we can get hot, it's not going to feel the same if it was Mitch. Whereas with Kenny, You got that optimism. You got that feeling of, hey, at least we know he can get. If he gets that going, if he could, like, he's taking the chances. What if we connect on it? What if instead of it being a pick, what if it's a touchdown? Now, what does that look like? With Mitch, we just weren't there just yet. So now with Kenny, that's the exciting part. But that's the dynamic, the pro and the con with him versus Mitch, and that's why I think spread wise, it reflects that in a sense as well.
Buy or sell. Please tell me you heard this comment. Buy or sell Tomlin's quotes when he was asked if he was considering Mitch this week because of his familiarity in Buffalo.
Oh my God.
He said, yes, yes, I did.
Stop it. No, he didn't. No, he did not. Don't you say that. Don't you stop
He said
it.
that.
No, I am not going to entertain.
I am not buying it either.
I
just feel like you had to say that, I guess.
Way.
Like, what else are you going to say? Are you going to say, nah, Mitch kind of sucks. We didn't consider him.
He said that, bro?
I'm dead serious. They asked him in his press conference yesterday. They were like,
I missed that then. Yeah, I missed that.
Being in Buffalo last year, do you think with the familiarity you were actually thinking about going to him this week?
Because I just saw the part
where he looked at him. He's like, yes.
I just saw the part when they asked him, is he going to still be a team captain? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. He's going to be doing the coin toss, too.
But he's been the team captain. So that part was
a little awkward.
It's awkward, yes. But this was also why it was awkward when they made him team captain. Because it's like, if you're going to make a guy team captain, why you want to make him team captain if it's potential he might get pulled? And it's not like when you're talking about a Cam or I think it was Cam, TJ, Najee,
and Mitch.
Yeah. So it's like you're not
special teams. Was it Gunner? No, Boz.
Was
it Boz?
Yeah. Was it?
I honestly don't remember.
I don't remember either. But it's like the majority of these captains, you're not worried about them getting pulled.
Killebrew. I think it was Killebrew.
You're right. Yeah. But you're not worried about them getting pulled. Whereas with Mitch, it was like, yo, you're in a QB competition either way. And we kind of all went into the season saying that, hey, best case scenario, you play 10 games and we switch you out after the bye. Best case?
I mean, best case would have been him to throw for the 30 touchdowns I was talking about.
You're right. I'm sorry. 30 touchdowns, 10. Yes, that would have been the best case. But the other, like the one that we all kind of like agreed in the middle was
the 80 to 90% chance
get us
that was going to happen. Yeah, at some point he was going to get pulled. Now, no matter what the Steelers' record was, even like what if we be a game or two over 500, but we still felt like Mitch ain't giving us what we really need. We can maybe elevate if we put Pickett in.
Yeah,
that's what we were all thinking.
Yeah.
It happened sooner than we thought in the Jets game.
It definitely did. But that's context, though. That's definitely context with it, though, man.
So where are we going with this matchup, then?
But no, man. But let's talk some of the advantages that I think the Steelers will have, man. The first thing is going back to that spread, though. The 14-point spread. We literally have nothing to lose in this context. The Bills, number one, are the big, bad team of the AFC, right? The darlings of the NFL. They're supposed to be the Super Bowl favorite, right? The Super Bowl contenders. So they have everything that they have to go out there and perform with, right? They can't win ugly. They're supposed to go out here and whoop us. 14-point spread. Biggest spread for the Steelers since what? I forgot what year they said it was. It's like a long time ago. But either way, that's the first part of it. I also know in Buffalo, you know who they got next week?
Who do they have next week? I heard this was a trap game for them.
The Kansas City
Chiefs.
It is.
Okay.
So you know what they've been talking about in Buffalo right now?
Are they really? Wow.
Man, we got to stay healthy this week. If there's anybody we can sit to get to next week, this is the approach.
We did that against the Browns in that wild card game back in 2020.
I know. If we get up early enough, man, we'll be able to rest these guys to get back healthy because we need our guys healthy. We got Kansas City, then we got the bye. That's the conversation going on in Buffalo. Okay?
Do you remember that Browns game? We were like, it was a good thing we lost week 17 because we get to play the Browns week 1. I stand by it. It's just we shit the bed.
We did. But that was the matchup we wanted. But that's kind of how they view. They're like, yo, we're so glad that it's Pittsburgh this week and not Kansas City because our secondary is banged up. But we don't have to worry about Pittsburgh coming in here and doing that. Whereas Kansas City, obviously, we know they got Mahomes and how the offense looks. So with that being the case, we truly have nothing to lose on top of Coach Tomlin thriving in these types of situations. To me, that's the first thing that I think helps us out because we're not going to overthink it. Also, Kenny isn't an overthinker. From what I've seen on tape, he's not going to come out here and play it as safe and not mess up like Mitch. He's going to come out here and play to win. Now, we're going to take that however that comes, but that's going to be his approach. So, once again, I like that for us. The second thing that I like for us is our wide receivers versus their DBs. They are banged up. This is not the secondary from the beginning of the season for those guys. They still haven't had Trey White back. Obviously, he's been dealing with the ACL from last season. But as a whole, we match up really well with their secondary right now. And I like that. That's a huge part for us in terms of that advantage if we can get to it. Huge part on if, but if we can, that's where I think we make the most hay. That's where I think we move the ball the most consistently. And then the third advantage I think that we have is our ball security. I know Kenny came out here last week with them 3 picks, and this is like the outlier in this part of the conversation. But as a whole, the identity of our team, we protect the ball.
Yeah.
As a whole, we protect the ball. And we turn the ball over in terms of creating turnovers. Whereas when we talked about Buffalo, and I talked about that when I was talking about 3 things I don't like, they don't value it to that extent. So when you're talking about how do you get out of a stadium versus this team, they're up 14-point, favorites and stuff like that, the turnover element is real. You have to take advantage in that part. We got to protect that ball first off. But the second part is we got to capitalize on those opportunities. And we're going to be watching this game, Deke, and it's going to be about 3 to 4 times throughout this game where defensively we're going to be like, that's opportunity right there. Now, hopefully we capitalize on them. But we're going to be sitting here and saying, hey, that should have been a fumble. That was a fumble. That could have been a pick. That's going to be out there. Now, can we capitalize on it? That's what we have to do. But that, to me, is another advantage for us. Now, some of the things that concern me in this particular matchup is definitely our offensive line when it pertains to the pass protection, man. For us to get to this wide receivers taking advantage of
our
their
interior right now. If Oliver's out, for sure.
I do too. I'm talking Greg Rousseau and Von Miller. Those are the 2 that I don't like our matchup with Chooks and Dan right now.
Chooks has been doing all right this season.
He was doing all right until last week. I'm watching these Jets pass rush and we're like, who are the Carl Lawson? Like I said, good player. But he hadn't been playing like that since he's been coming back from the Achilles injury.
Maybe they overlooked those guys.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But either way, both of the Jets D-line just looked way better. And more particular, their tackle, our tackles versus their edge. It was like, what is this? Vaughn and Greg Roos are better players, definitively, than what the New York Jets had last week. So that is definitely something that, like I said, concerns me. The next concern is our DBs versus Diggs.
Yeah, and that would even be if Witherspoon was healthy too.
Because like we talk about with AB, when AB was AB here, it didn't matter who you were putting over there. You knew he was going to get his, unless you literally was like, we're going to bastardize this coverage and make it where you can't go to this guy. And even then we would still throw it in the triple coverage and he would still make a play. We know that. Come on now. But that's kind of how I feel when I'm watching Diggs. Diggs is that type of dude right now where it's going to be tough for us to match up with him. But if our pass rush is consistent and not just winning, but actually finishing, because last week we did win, we just didn't finish. You have to finish the rush. And what I mean by finish is actually get these guys on the ground.
Right.
Josh is Allen tough to get down.
He should be tougher than Zach Wilson, but I don't know. Yeah. Zach Wilson was on one last week.
Zach was definitely on one last week, bro. But that's the part for me where I'm like, if we can finish these rushes, great, because that is the way you attack this unit right now. Make them have to run that ball, but more importantly, beat them up front. Can we do that? Now we will see. But the third thing that I think could potentially be a disadvantage for us also is Dawson Knox versus our inside linebackers when we're talking about the coverage part of it. Part of that has been schematically for our Steelers inside linebackers where we've went to some of the zone stuff, and that's because of some of the injuries. But Dawson Knox is a really good tight end, man. Really good young tight end, tough, runs out the catch, all those nice things. Like, I think Pat is a better player, but they're very different in terms of their build as well. Dawson's a little bit more taller and lean, whereas with Pat, got a little more girth on him. We rock with Pat Shiesty. You know how we roll.
Yeah.
But Dawson Knox is one of those guys where it's going to be some challenges in there with our inside linebackers, Miles Jack included, just because he's a really good player. And it's no different if it would have been Pat Fryman we were talking about. Pat versus Edmonds and Milano. Like, it's going to be good on good, but Pat's going to win. He's going to win his fair share. Like, that's kind of the energy when I'm thinking Dawson Knox versus our inside guys. So those are some of the things that I think we'll be able to have advantages in, but also some of the things that I think, like, hey, man, we could potentially have to be alert for this right here, man.
Sure. Here's what I'm thinking. We need to take a play out of the Ravens playbook and how they handled the Bills last week. Now, they fell off a little bit in the second half, but they really controlled the ball. It was the opposite of what happened in the Bills-Miami game, even though the Bills lost that one. So here's my two ways of thinking it. Either we win very similarly to how we won last year, but now we don't have TJ Watt, we don't have Melvin Ingram, we're not fully healthy. So I don't know if that's the formula that you can count on, where it's like, okay, we get a couple turnovers off Josh Allen. Now, granted, he might just toss one or two to us,
and
or
that's
like
why I said the ball
have a tip or two. But a lot of those, I think, were due to our defense's good play and TJ Watt pressuring and how our DBs were playing too. So that's one way. Fluky stuff happens. Maybe we get a punt block, something on special teams.
Their ball carriers will put the ball on the ground. Whether you're talking the receivers or their running backs, a ball will be on the ground.
We got to pick it up.
That's the thing. It doesn't always have to be a Josh Allen throwing a pick. Also, when Josh runs, he puts the ball on the ground as well.
And he's even thrown picks. Yeah. Well, he did it last year, but also the year before when they won in those Keller Rush jerseys, the 2020 season, the COVID season. He threw one or two to us there.
That was Steven Nelson's first pick, wasn't it?
I think he actually played clean in 2019 whenever it was Duck Hodges. Ooh. He just didn't have a gaudy game, though.
Fair.
I think he played clean from what I remember.
I'm mixing it up. No. That was the game actually in 2019. That was when John Brown got after
that's what it was.
Nelson. Yeah, he got after
Diggs went off against us in 2020.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, who was Diggs cooking? Was that
I think it was Joe Hayden.
No, Joe didn't play that. Not the one in Buffalo.
You're right. It was Steven Nelson. I thought we were playing a lot of zone, from what I remember. I don't think it was like an individual 1v1 matchup.
Yeah,
I think he was just finding
definitely
seams.
Went off. Yeah, it was in the second half, not the first half, for certain. Yeah.
So it's either that, like, we don't turn the ball over, we play this conservative style of offense, which I don't think is going to happen now that we have Pickett. So I'm throwing that out the window. Now, could it happen where, we're not putting up as many points on the board, we're not sustaining drives, and good stuff happens to us on defense? I just don't know with these injuries and the personnel if we can afford to do something like that. Yeah. So the other option is it's the Pickett takeover.
Ooh, okay.
Sustain long drives, and I don't think it's coincidence. He comes in last week.
Get it the
we
fast
have
way,
the longest drive of the season.
Get it the ski mask way. All right.
Yeah. Feed it to Pickens. We have the longest drive of the season last week. I think it was like 6 minutes, 87 yards. It was double digits in terms of how many plays we had. Led to the touchdown. We need more of that. Yeah. And if you think Pickett's that dude, Pickett's the upgrade over Mitch. And Canada's plays maybe aren't as bad as what we thought because they didn't seem that bad in the second half when Pickett was in.
They're not.
So, hey. Let's get Pickett in there, sustain drives, and like you said, I think he's going in there to win. Like, he's not going in there to have this conservative mentality, let's keep care of the ball. No. We're going to go out here. We're going to take our chances on offense. We're going to sustain drives. Let's make it easier on our defense. I think that's how we got to do it. And I think Najee's going to have to be a catalyst, too. We're talking about the defensive line of the Bills. Yeah. I think we can beat them with our guards and centers, especially if Ed Oliver's out. Yeah. Get some inside runs. Najee Harris. Mix it up a little bit with Jaylen Warren. Yeah. That's going to help, too. So that's my main – there's two ways. Like I said, we get some of the good defensive plays here. We get the turnovers, whatnot. Maybe we get something fluky happen. Yeah. We don't turn the ball over. Or we take the bull by the horns here on offense, and we take some chances, sustain drives, and lay the pressure off the defense. Yeah.
It's going to have to be one
and
or the
it's just
other.
Like, hey, bro, you think Pickett's going to do it in his first game as a rookie?
Hey, that depends on how ballsy you feel, man. Yeah.
First game as a freshman at Pitt, took down number 2 Miami.
What was the numbers looking like?
His numbers in that game? Yeah. I honestly don't remember. Oh. Were they bad? You
I know. I have no clue, actually. I thought you knew.
He had a nice rushing touchdown. It was a low-scoring game, though. Okay. I think it was like a 17-10 game.
For sure. Yeah, I didn't know if he lit it up or something. Yeah, I ain't know.
No, it was low-scoring. He had a sick rushing touchdown. I remember that.
For sure. All right.
But those are my 2 thoughts on how we do it.
I like it.
Sustain drives on offense. No matter if it's Pickett, nickel and diming them, lighting them up a little bit, taking chances, or it's Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren having pretty good games on the ground. Yeah. We got to sustain drives. Keep Josh Allen off the field. Keep the momentum. Keep the vibes off for their offense so they're not on the field as much and they feel like, hey, we could turn it over and it's not going to matter because that's how it felt. That's how it's felt with their offense. No, make it matter. If they turn it over, let's get a little 6-minute drive.
Yeah, make them sit.
Score a touchdown. Exactly.
Absolutely. I like that.
Actually, maybe it's a combination of both because I think we are going to need a player or two on defense, but we're really going to need our offense to step up. Whereas last year, it wasn't as much about the offense. Correct. It was more about like, dude, can this line hold up for Ben? He's trying to take care of the ball. Yeah. Can we make a big play here or there? And we did. And then the special team stepped up and the defense stepped up. I think it's going to be a little bit of the defense, special teams, but it's going to be a lot of the offense.
I like it.
That's my keys.
No, I like it.
That's why I'm thinking we beat the Buffalo Bills.
I like it. All right.